on that copper track, eventually the solder will skimmy on right the way down it and it will look a bit horrible. But the beauty of the solder resist is that all stops. So I've got these boards, and these boards were made by our last year's 721 students. Yeah, beautiful professionals. These are what you're going to be producing at the end of the module. We've got a good selection here, so you can pick up a little bit of idea about what you could make. Wow. So we're going to take this board and we're going to solder a couple of components. Okay, I'm going to try and do it standing up so everyone can see. So the general idea is, because it's a through-hole component, yeah, I'm going to get the board the right way around first of all, and we've got an overlay printed on this board. So typically on a two-layer board, where you see the overlay is the part where you place your components. Yeah. So in the case, you can see here I've got an R8. An R3, an R9, etc. So my ident can be matched up with my circuit. So I find the component based on my circuit as to what goes at what place. As you can see, the footprints are pretty much set up to be correct. So for this resistor, all I'm going to do for this resistor is I'm going to hold it in the middle of my fingers, and I'm going to rub my two fingers over it, and I'm going to bend it so it looks like that. Yep, nice and perfect. Then I'm going to pop it into a slot which has got a picture of a resistor on. Both sides like that, and because I've just bent the legs, it's going to fit in there nice and easy for me, it says. There we go. And then I'm just going to fold these legs the other side so it doesn't drop out. Yeah? Yeah. So it's nice down, flat on the board. Yeah? Yeah. Equal distance between both legs, looks nice, and I've bent the legs over. Yeah, nice, easy. So now's the important part of the soldering, and this is the bit that everybody gets wrong. If you have the facility here to add some flux, then always do it. Flux is your friend. Flux will help solder flow. And when you apply heat to solder, the flux burns off, so it stops flowing. Yeah? So when we put heat on the solder and we heat it up, and we're taking heat away and we thought, oh, it doesn't look good, we need to add more of this, or you'll end up with a dry joint and it will look awful. So flux every single time. You can never have enough flux. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stick some flux on both of these connections. Yeah. I'm going to get my soldering iron, the one I've turned on. I don't need a super heavy temperature, which is what people don't understand about soldering irons. The hotter it is, the worse it works. You want to get the exact right temperature, and this is solder free. This is lead-free solder, so solder-free solder.
Solder-free solder, that'd be good.
Okay, so the process is, I apply heat, I wait for the heat to heat up the pad. Then I apply some solder, the solder flows towards the heat. I remove the solder, keeping the heat, and then when I've removed the solder, then I remove the soldering iron. So I don't remove the soldering iron first, I don't remove them together. I follow that order. So, I'm going to heat up my pin by applying it at about a 45-degree angle on both the pad and the leg. And once it's heated up a bit, I'm going to apply a little bit of solder. Yeah. Then I'm going to take away the solder. Then I'm going to take away my now look at that.
Yeah, that looks really good.
Right. All you got to do.
And it's shiny, isn't it, Mike? That's one of the giveaways.
Yeah. If it's not shiny, you've heated it up too much and it's burnt off all the flux. So you need to get the flux back in it. Yeah. Okay. So that is what I'm looking for every single time. A perfect dot of solder. It's not flooded through. It's lovely. Like John said, it's shiny. It's got the right angle on as it touches the wire. It's not going to pull off. It's not going to break. And then all I'm going to do then is I'm going to get my wire cutters, which are quite often around. Here we go. And I'm going to pull my leg up as far as I can, get my cutters down as far as I can, chop it off, and now it could not be more perfect than that. Nobody could ever complain to me that my soldering needs work. So I come along now and I'm going to follow exactly the same. Typically, because I do a lot of SMC work, you always solder one end first and then deal with the other one. And that just follows on. Because I folded these over, I could have easily soldered both of these legs together. And quite often, when I'm making a PCB like this, I'll do that. I'll put all the components in, fold them all over, turn it over, and then solder everything in one hit. You're happy to do that if you're confident. But, you know, don't run before you can walk. It's probably the wise way of saying it.
I prefer not to do that myself because I just don't like what it looks like in the interim. That's why I think.
So here I go again. I've cooked flux on there. So I heat up my pad at about 45 degrees. Give it a little bit of time to transfer the heat. apply a little bit of solder onto my hole.
So you're 325 degrees centigrade
off.
on the settings on there, aren't you?
Then I remove my iron. Yeah, that's the important bit. And again, yeah, it's perfect, isn't it? But you just got to follow those simple steps. Apply heat, apply solder, remove heat. Yeah, it's going to work every time. And most important thing, flux is your friend. Every time you touch that heat on there, this burns off. So if you want to go back again, if I needed to rework that, I would put more flux on there before I reheat that piece of solder.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay, you're all good to go.
Yeah.